Hey guys, welcome to another episode of All Bass Creations Effects Tutorials, Demos, and Review. Today we have up the amazing JHS Color Box version 2. So this has very quickly become one of my favorite. Sorry, had to turn the mic down there. I don't blast your ears out too much, but this has very quickly become one of my favorite preamp pedals. Number one, based on just the versatility of it, the sound of it is amazing. Very clean, pristine, like high quality preamp sound to it. So, and it looks very plain and unassuming. It just has a little console thing on there and then a bunch of knobs. So very easy to overlook it and think that, oh, it doesn't, or a lot of videos, it's actually, you can't really hear it as well as you can in person. And that is one thing I noticed. It is something that you might have to have in your hands to hear yourself playing through it. Find your settings, But, while we're here, we might as well see what we got on. So let's peel back a little bit of these layers. I did have the Empress bass compressor on, but turning that off now. And that didn't have any coloring on it. It was just compressing. So let's see what this thing just sounds like by itself. So as you can hear, it sounds, it doesn't really, it has a nice analog warmness to it. Like it has a very nice warmness to it. I know it's kind of designed after the Neve 1073 preamps. And I'm not saying it's necessarily that, but this is nothing to complain about. Like, this is an amazing preamp. Like, there's, like, even running mics and things through it. I don't have this mic running through it now, but usually I'm running my mics through it now. You know what I'm saying? But I needed it for the video for bass. So, but if you do want to use it with a dynamic mic, I noticed people were having a little issue. What I do is I turn the gain on high for the dynamic mics, and then I keep the step low, and I push the gain to where, I say anywhere from 9 to 12 o'clock, and then the rest of it I do with the output volume, and I try to keep the output volume lower than the gain. Use the gain a little bit more and less of the output volume, because for some reason, when you do it that way, you don't get all that noise that some people were getting, when they would turn it up. But you gotta love it. It just sounds really, really good. So let's do some stuff like, let's turn it back flat. As you can see, I have my knobs here. Let me see what we got up here. All right. So for the EQs, what we got? For the treble shift, you can go anywhere from 2,000 up to 30,000 kilohertz. That's crazy. So right now I tried to set mine around anywhere from 5 to 7. I think that is. That's this one. Mids, I got that. Let me see. Mids are between 160 hertz and 2.5 kilohertz. And that's great, because you can around this area, 9 o'clock is going to be an area where you can typically cut on bass, and it sounds good. So around 200 to 300 hertz around there, and as well as if you wanted to boost, you can put it around there, and that'll get you closer to around that. Anywhere, I'm not saying this is spot on, anywhere from 8 to 1,000, 1,200 hertz there. Then as well as the bass knob here goes from 20 to 400 hertz. So I typically like to boost around, I would have to say, man, that's got to be around, let's see, if all the way to the left is 20, that's probably like 20, 30, 40, 40-ish, 30, 40, there's got to be around 30, 50, 40, 50, 60 maybe. I believe around this area is around 100. And then, going all the way up would be 400. So you just kind of got guesstimate, but I like mine around 1100. Around 11 o'clock, if you're looking at an analog clock, if y'all still know what that looks like. But I also like to cut around there. But when you have these in the middle, the other cool thing is they bypass the EQ section. I know some people were asking for a switch to bypass it, but you don't really need it. And the reason you don't need it is because it already has, you put them in the middle and it bypasses the EQ, whichever, that knob individually, which is really cool. So I don't have to worry about the bass knob affecting, say I'm using a microphone and I want to boost the mids or something, but I don't have to use all that tone stacking and EQ and affecting the signal to get a boost on the mids, so it essentially bypasses them in the middle, But yeah, so here's what it sounds like flat. So even with just the the coloring of the saturation on it is amazing. Just make me smile. Just make me smile. It sounds so good even when it's being very transparent. And because I actually use this more on the clean side, of course, as a basis. I don't really like the way it distorts. But I'll show you guys. So let's see. I don't particularly like it. Like, to me, that's not a really pleasing sound. See if I can get it just to do it a little bit. I didn't like it before, but as I turned it all the way up, and if you let it hit just slightly, just that little touch, just a little touch like I did before. But if you want something extreme, cause I can hear that on top of something like this poly blue. Put that joint on top of a poly blue. Let me see. It has like this natural breakup, like noise gate on it almost, like if it turned all the way up, and it's like it's cutting off on its own. As long as you playing cleanly, but when you hold it, it's like some gate on there. I don't think I had nothing. I got a gate on here somewhere. That gate at? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's this doing it. Okay, that's fire. That's fire. And what I'm saying is I can use that like let me see. Let me add a filter real quick, and I can run that into a filter. Oh yeah, let's do the resonance filter. So I'm gonna use a resonance filter on the B6. Oh, let's go. I'm also going to turn on the Empress compressor, and that's running at a 10:1 ratio with let's say about 75% dry and 25% of the compressor is in parallel compression. See, that's why you just gotta try stuff, people. You just gotta try it sometimes. Like, I didn't like it. Like the first few times I tried it, I I didn't like that any of the distortion sounds. But even just playing around with it to show you guys, I found another setting that I really like. That I can use for something, because that I can't. It's almost like a bit crusher sound, but not bit crusher. But it's just so overdriven. That's what all that sounds like without it. Which is a great sound. I ain't gonna lie, it's a great sound by itself. But you add could take that sound right there, like just the octaver. That's just the octaver, and so it's mostly octave down and a little bit of octave up on the poly blue, pushing the what's this thing? The Color Box 2, right? But then we're going to run that into a detune chorus. Hopefully I got. Oh, come on, let me do what I'm trying to do. This is what I gotta do. Alright. Okay. What I don't need right now. Whatever. Alright, so I'm going to add a detune on there. Let's change this. I don't need that right now. Sorry guys about the extra noise. When you cranking it up, it does that. When you got, see how it breaks up? But if you run a noise gate before that, it should cut that right out. Let's test that theory. So let's see if we can run a noise gate real quick. Okay, so it does help. It definitely helps. Definitely helps a lot to run a noise gate, even though you're still gonna get that noise. But you gotta remember that it's pushed all. That gain is way up there from where it was first started with the gain on low. This was only around around 2 or 3 clicks on the step. From all the way to the left. If you go turn all the way to the left and go up 2 or 3 clicks. Well, actually, just go all the way to see the second or third click, rather. You put it on the second or third click. That's where I normally would have this. And I normally would have this gain all the way at 9 o'clock and have the volume knob at 3 o'clock. But right now, I got the volume knob at 3. The gain at the gain is at 3 o'clock. So. And the master is at 9 o'clock. So, as you guys can see. But alright. So, let's add this together. We got our detune on here. You can hear it already throbbing. So childish. Well, let's go. All right, so that's an extreme version of the distorted sound on there, but it does everywhere in between there. You could definitely dial it back. Um, you know, drop that gain on there. Like I said, put this around 2-3 clicks. I definitely like it to push up into it a little bit just to make sure I have enough color in there from it. Um, Yeah, you guys ain't gonna get me demonetized over here. But make sure you subscribe, like, and share, guys. Hit that like button as well. I need y'all to, participate a little bit. I've been appreciating all the love and support y'all been showing me. With all the, just comment, just interacting. Make sure if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. But make sure you also hit that subscribe and hit that like button. I definitely need you to do that and share it with another bass player it's your homie. You're gonna leave your homie out there without the bass niggas to help them too. Why? Share the love. Share the love. You know what I'm saying? But so a few things. Like you guys know, I don't really do per se, like I'm not doing like a walkthrough of the pedal type thing. But just giving you guys some general features. You can't see on the side, you have an XLR and instrument switch there. You got a pad, negative 20 dB pad on there. And on the other side, you have an XLR out and a 1/4 inch out. And the 1/4 inch out, you can have running to your pedal board, and you can have the XLR running to the house. That works. It doesn't ground or lift, but if you want to run condenser mics, it does pass the 48 volt phantom power that's needed for dynamic mics, which is amazing. So it means you can use all tons of mics with it. But yeah. So here's some IR. Here's a little bit of what it sounds like running into my custom IR of my Neo, my Benz Neo X212, the original joint, the original jammy. You can't even get these no more. The carpet babies, you feel me? But they sound real nice and clean. Very well balanced cabinet rather. But I had that mic'd up with a D6 and a SM57, So we're going to see what that sounds like. And this is one of my custom IRs that you guys will be able to get. Here we go. Here we go. So I kind of worked backwards there. Went from the with the color box, the Empress, and the IR all on. Then turned off the IR, left the color box and the Empress. Then I just turned off the Empress. Then the last thing you heard was my bass dry. So, yeah, the color box is a really amazing little unit. So, like even, let's see, something. Let's see what these mids talking about. So you can use the mids around this area, which is around like 2 o'clock, 2:30 ish, around 2. And you can literally just boost the mids like that to about 3 o'clock or anywhere you would need them in between here, noon and that. So I would boost around this frequency around here, and then I would cut around this area, pretty much, in a nutshell. As well as all my settings for the color box will be available for you guys to buy directly from me. If you have a Tone X1, you actually have availability. You'll actually have access to all my preamp settings, like every preamp I have in this room, meaning all my analog preamp pedals, all that stuff, Jens Benz Shuttle 9.0, a TC Electronic BH500, Ampeg BA head. That's a BA 210 V2 series, and a Mark Bass Little Mark III, which is the OG, rock solid rig a lot of guys go with, but also just sounds amazing. It just sounds so good in so many situations. But you'll have all of these stuff, including the color box settings, all in the Tone X1, as well as you'll have, access to all of my RRs, meaning like that RR you just heard me playing through this one. Right, you see that? Here's with it flat. Just absolute destruction with the IRs, and that's just one of them. That's just that 1212 cabinet with a D6 on the bottom speaker and a SM57 on the tweeter. And you'll get, the great thing about that, you're going to get 16 different variations. You can have 16 different variations of that. Because I did center on, in the cone. Then I did some off to the side of the cone between the center and the edge, the center and the edge of it. And then I also did those further back as well, so you could have a little bit more of the room, and drop some of the bass. So I have some versions of this that have a little less booty on them. That thing right there got a lot of butt on it. And it's got plenty of highs. And that's also running through my personal EQ settings. I actually did these with a 1073 mic preamp. So need 1073 mic pre. So I'm actually doing all the IRs with it. So it's going to give it that nice creamy texture. I might do some with the color box as well. Go back and redo all of them with the color box and see the comparison between the Need 1073 and the color box. Like put in similar settings, I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, this joint's fire. This joint's fire. Let me see a few more different tones with her. Just that. It's the highs too. The highs on this joint is nice and like they're not harsh. They're very warm. Yep. So, you get tons of just tone out of this thing. Like it can be, you can run other preamps into this too. This is another little trick, guys. Say you got something like a Tone X1 and you want to step that sound up even more. You could take something like this, have it, use my general EQ setup. That's my general frequency. I set the knobs to right there, right? But, well, let's do this first because I didn't do the bass knob. So I did the treble in the mids. And I don't normally do this, but to preamps, like sweeping through frequencies, because I just don't normally do this. Like I know which frequencies it is, but typically it doesn't help people know what to do. So I usually just give my actual settings, get you directly in a ballpark if you like the sound, If you don't, then you know what not to do as well. But so that's at 20 hertz. So say, you got a bass like mine that's active. Another thing you can do that I'm, just kind of exploring here just now, is you can, I know my bass boosts around 40. So in order to get like an extra, and then I also have a bass and a treble knob here and a mid knob that pulls in and out. In is the lower mid frequencies, pull it out and it's upper mids. But what I was kind of experimenting with is using this bass knob, using the bass knob as a mid knob, like at the frequency I want to cut. It's because I don't really need a bass boost per se. And a lot of engineers, they'll give you crap, You don't want to have too much booty in there. You want to have enough booty to support things, enough booty to do what you got to do, what I'm saying? But you don't need all the booty in the world, you know what I'm saying? So, we all like to try to get it, but it is what it is. But, yeah, you can cut with that bass knob instead, So you can cut like that. And then I can use my bass knob here as my bass frequency boost. Same thing with the highs. I can move that down to there to around a 2.5 range. I know my bass is boosting around 5,000 or 6,000. Use the boost on there, just a smidge, not really a lot. Pick whichever mids I want to go with on my bass, and then set this to the opposite. So this is boosting around 1,000 there. So got a boost around 1,000, a cut around 200 to 300. Just a little bit of that 2.5K right there. I'm also cutting probably, so here I'm cutting about around 2 something, and on my bass I'm also cutting a little bit around 350-ish. Maybe 500, somewhere around there. I can't remember with all these different frequencies and stuff. It's like a million, I'm doing pedals every week, guys. Give me a break. But that's a cool sound, too. So it can give you great clarity, add a lot of clarity to your sound as well. So, you can choose to use it more like a traditional bass preamp, like I had said before, or some of the alternate, settings I'm showing you guys now. You know, like this one here is kind of crazy. This one, definitely adds a lot of clarity to your sound, while it's not taking away any booty from it. But it's adding a ton of clarity. And just like bringing out a lot of the nuances in my sound. Very subtle, but that's fire. That's fire. I think that might be that's going in the arsenal right there. Another thing I like to do, I like doing these videos because it automatically like saves all these different settings for me. If I ever was like, I remember I used to have this setting on, so I just go back to the video. And so can you. If you subscribe, like, and share, it'd be already on your like list, already in your subscribe list. You ain't got to search far from you. Come up in your feed. You know what I'm saying? Come up in your feed. Feel me? Get you in there. As well as I'll be having a bass course soon. I'll be having an improvisation course, as well as I'll be doing like general music theory type stuff. Because I'm also a teacher, music teacher. I do that on the side as well. And I actually work not for, but contracted to FAME, which is the Foundation for Advancement of Music and Education. And we just finished up a week of working with some amazing group of students. Shout out to all my students at FAME. But, we spent the whole week going through. I kind of use improvisation theory and jazz theory to explain traditional theory as well, and I think it helps out a lot. So I do all of that at once. I don't separate the two, where it's like, here's you learning your classical theory, things here's the jazz stuff. It's like, for me, it's all together. You learn it all together, and then like it helps you analyze. One helps you analyze the other. So if you have jazz theory, you're analyzing chord changes and structures and voicings of chords a lot more than the classical side of things. But if you got the classical side too, now you can read intricate parts very well. Jazz also has some very intricate parts you can read as well. But you're learning different fields, so you're learning how to deal with different fields, different time frames. Seeing different dynamics and things is written out long form. A lot of times, jazz stuff is written out with the shorthand style of sheet music. So, you can literally be a jazz musician and go your whole career and never have really touched heavier guitar parts that are written all the way out. So it'll help you with all your, your chops and everything. So, it's we're gonna have a lot coming for you guys, but this Color Box version 2 is definitely worth grabbing. If you can afford it, because it is on the pricier side of, not the priciest, it's about in the middle actually. Typically, you can get a nice bass preamp starting around 100, 150. Step up to something a lot nicer around the $300 to $500 range. And then, if you want to get really super, super fancy and you got the time to wait, if you want, a Noble, that's going to be a grip of money and a long wait time. So, I'm actually going to do a whole series on the bass, all the preamps I have, and just how they all sound back to back, you know. But yeah, this color box is definitely in the arsenal to stay, and it has a lot of usage. You can use this on anything, guitars. You can use it on drums, kick drums, overheads. Snare mics. You can use it on saxophone, clarinet, flute, trombone, tuba, whatever you need it for. You can use this joint for, and that's another reason why I love it, because that one sound, which has always been amazing about the 1073 series of Neve, how do you make a preamp that works for everything? It sounds great, just as good as the stuff that's designed specifically for that. That's amazing. So I can't really say too much. You can't say too much stuff about this color box. I can see why it's on a lot of guys' pedal board. It's not the smallest pedal. Let me see. Yeah, it's about the size of my hand, but it's a hefty little box compared to something like a Tonex. These Tonex and these little nano pedals are getting really, really small. So, but, that analog sound coming from that joint is crazy. And I know sometimes it doesn't translate on video, so if let me know in the comments if I did a good job getting the color box sound to translate, because that's what I haven't been seeing in a lot of videos. I was wondering, I'm hoping I can get the point across. I've been seeing, I actually had to get it in my hands and really hear it and go through a lot of different settings with it to really get the sound of it. But it doesn't really change your sound. It just adds saturation, some saturation to it. It's really beautiful, really beautiful. But yeah, make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Hit that like button for me, and go check out my music at allbasscreations.bandcamp, as well as you can find me on all social media at the Bass Negus, Negus, and Negus means king. If you didn't know, you can Google it. You know what I'm saying? But Negus means king. And the reason I'm saying this is because I get that question quite a bit. So, but I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.